Hello, and welcome to KKFI's PAL on-air training video. This video will cover how to use the PAL on-air software. We will discuss what is PAL and what is on-air. We will show photos inside the PAL room and on-air studio. And we will show the on-air screen, introduction and features, and we'll work with the on-air software. So what is PAL? PAL is an acronym that stands for 3 different systems. These are 3 different computers that are always running at KKFI, running the different systems. The P in PAL stands for production, also known as iMedia Touch. This is the system where we upload audio content. The A in PAL stands for air, also known as on-air. This is the system where we play audio in the on-air studio. And this is what we'll be looking at today. The L in PAL stands for the logger. The logger is the system where we record everything that's aired on KKFI. The logger audio is available for download in the KKFI studios. Today, we'll be discussing the on-air portion of PAL. Here's a photo inside the PAL room. If you're not familiar where the PAL room is located, it's at the end of the hallway, past the green room and past the production recording studios at KKFI on the right-hand side of the hallway, directly across the hall from the chief operator's office. As you see in the photo, on the left is the PAL on-air screen, and on the right is the PAL production screen. Today, we'll be working with the on-air screen. These systems are located in the PAL room, in addition to having a screen located in the on-air studio. You can utilize the on-air screen in the PAL room before your show if you'd like to load up audio into the playlist that you'll be using for your show. Please always coordinate with the on-air programmer who's in this on-air studio to make sure they know if you're going to be working on the screen in the PAL room. Here's a look in the on-air studio. The PAL screen, the on-air screen, is located to the left of the soundboard. There's a PAL channel located right here on the soundboard. That's the primary main output channel for PAL. Also, just to the right of it is the PAL audition channel, which we will discuss later in this video. The keyboard and mouse for PAL will be located underneath the desk, underneath the mixing board on this sliding tray. And now we'll share the screen for the PAL on-air software and talk about the screen and some of its features. First, let's talk about the header at the top of the screen. There's several different fields of information that are useful to us in the on-air studio. The first is the next EOM. The intro field we don't use at this time. But the next EOM field here that shows 237 shows us how much time is left in an audio file that's being played. So this top file right here, Rudy Toot Galoot, is paused right now, but it has 2 minutes and 37 seconds left of time to be played. If we were to hit play on this file, you would see it counting down. And there it's counting down. So that's how much time is left in the file that's currently being played. The field for this hour shows how much time is left in this hour. At this time, it's counting till 1 p.m. So this is how much time is left until we get to 1 p.m. The on-hand feature here, we don't use a lot at this time. So you can disregard that. The auto off and auto on button is right here. If you press it, it changes between off and on. When auto on is enabled, you can play through every track that's listed on the playlist to the left here. So if we were to hit play with auto on enabled, it would play every track continuously until there was no more audio loaded in the playlist on the left-hand side. If auto off was enabled, if it's turned off, then we would just play. If we hit play, it would just play through the end of the first track or of the single track that is playing at that time. And then it would stop playing. So auto on is important if we have a list of audio files that we would like to continually play through. If we only wanted to play one file, then we would want it selected on auto off. To the right of that button is our current time, 12:16 p.m. It also shows the day of the week, the month, the date, and the year. This is the clock that we should use in the OnAir studio. It's the most accurate clock. The other clocks on the wall and on the soundboard are not always accurate. They have a tendency to drift off of time over time. This clock is always synced to the internet. So it is always the most accurate clock in the OnAir studio and the one that should be used. To the right is KKFI FM. That's the radio station we're using and broadcasting from. These other buttons here, you can disregard. They are not buttons that programmers or volunteers need to be concerned about. They are more for administration settings and features of the software that only need to be accessed by admins. The very far right button we will use later for show logs, managing our show logs, editing, creating a show log. That is the header of the OnAir software. In the middle, we have the music library. This is where we find audio in PAL, in OnAir. To start out with, we are looking at the category level. Every audio file in PAL is assigned a category. Categories are descriptions of the type of audio in PAL. As you can see here, we have a category for music beds. We have a category for calendars. We also have a category for country or hip hop. Any categories that start with the letter K are a local music genre category. There's also PPR for program promotions. UND for underwriting. These are all different audio categories that our audio exists in PAL. Each category has a 3-letter name and then the description of the category. If we were to double click into one of these categories, we would then see all the audio content that is in that category. We are looking at the category view because this drop-down selection at the bottom of the screen is selecting category. So if we wanted to find audio, or if we wanted to find content that was under the jazz traditional category, we could double click that category, and then we see audio that is in that category. You can sort the audio by these different fields at the top of the library. You can sort by ID number, and then it will order it in chronological order by jazz ID number. You can sort it by artist, and it will order it in alphabetical order by artist, and so on. You may have noticed that when we clicked into the jazz category, this drop-down option below changed to audio. That automatically changes when we click into the category and are looking at the audio content itself. You may have also noticed that this bar at the bottom with the categories buttons has appeared. And because we clicked into the jazz category, the jazz JZZ category button here is highlighted. If it has a red bar at the bottom, that means that we have selected that category. So we are looking at everything in the jazz category right now. If we wanted to search in the jazz category, we could click the S button here, and this opens up our search field. This allows us to type in a search and find it in the library. Let's say we wanted to find songs with the word rain in them. If it were a rainy day and we wanted to select just music about rain, then we could type in the word rain here, and it's searching for any songs with the word rain in all text fields. The all text fields means that it's looking in title, artist, album, any of these fields to find the word rain, any fields that contain the word rain. So if we just wanted to look at song titles with the word rain, we could select title contains rain. So these songs that are loaded here in the library all contain the word rain. There are songs with the word rainbows, train, rainy, rainbow, brain, and so on. If we just wanted songs with the word rain by itself, you could put a space in front of rain, and that eliminates the returns that have words like brain and train in it. These are all songs with the word rain in the jazz category. If we wanted to search in all categories for this rain in the title search, we could click the all button, and that would open up the search to all categories. You can move left to right on the category buttons with these arrow selectors here, left to right. And from here, you can select different categories for this search. If we wanted to just look in blues, we could select BLU for blues. Let's say we wanted to conduct a search for Charlie Parker. And this is currently in title, so we would probably want to change it to artist to get the most returns on the search. So we've selected Charlie Parker, artist contains. Now we see all the returns for Charlie Parker. You see that some of them are in the JZZ category, some of them are in the KJZ category, which is local jazz. And then we also have underwriting here for some underwriting spots that contain the word Charlie Parker. So we're looking at searches with Charlie Parker and the artists under all categories. Again, you could change that to all text. We could click on different categories. Most of them don't contain files with the word Charlie Parker, but the JZZ category does. So we're using the category button to help filter our search. There is also the option to select groups. These are the same groups that have been in PAL for a long time. If you select G, then we have groups instead of categories. Groups are groups of categories. So there's sort of the high level on a hierarchy of how we organize our audio. For example, if you selected music, music contains all genres of music categories. If we wanted to drill down and be more specific, we could go back to the category bar and select genres of categories or genres of music. So when we find audio in the audio library, if we want to add it to our playlist on the left-hand side, you can click that file and drag it over into the playlist. You have to hold down the left mouse button, drag it, and put it wherever you'd like it to be. If we want a song here to be in the number 3 spot on the playlist, we can drag it over and drop it right into that spot, and the songs below it will move down. That's how we add audio to our playlist, is by holding the left mouse button and then letting go in the playlist. Let's talk about the playlist. On the left side, this is where we load audio that we are going to play. It's also called the main log. The audio plays from top to bottom. If we had the audio on button on, we could hit start on this top file and it would play continuously through all the files in our playlist. If you want to play a file, you can play any one of the top 4 files in the playlist by hitting the start button, this green button on the left side. So here we're playing Rudy Toot Galoot by 3 Trails West. We hit play. If we wanted to pause that file, we could click pause right there again, and it will pause that file right where it's at. And if we hit play, it'll start it back up where we paused it. If we wanted to rewind this track after pausing it and start it from the beginning again, we could click this re-cue button right here. And it rewinds the file to the beginning. If we wanted to delete this file from the playlist, we could click remove and it goes away. Again, we could click any one of these files and it would start playing them. If we selected or clicked start on this number 4 file here, it would move it to the top. So the file that's playing is at the top. It moved to the top and changed the order. If you wanted to remove this file, you could hit the kill button right here and it'll delete that file from the playlist. If we wanted to change the order of the playlist, if you wanted to move one of these files down low up to the top, you could highlight it and click it in the little gray box towards the right-hand side of the file and drag it up to the top wherever you want it to be. And you let go and it will reorder the playlist. So you click it with the left mouse button and hold it down until you have it where you want it, and then you let go of the left mouse button. You can take audio files from the top and move them down as well if you wanted to change the order. We are able to load many audio files on this playlist, but we can only see 7 of them at one time. We know we're seeing the very top of the playlist if we see 4 audio files that have a green start button next to them. And if this button that says top is not blinking. If we wanted to navigate downward on the playlist past what we're currently seeing, we could click the down button. And we'll go down one track at a time until we reach the bottom. We can click the up button and it will go up one track at a time until we get to the top. You could click the bottom button and go quickly with one click all the way to the bottom of the playlist. And if the top button is blinking, that means we're not at the top. That means we cannot see everything that's in our playlist, or that we're not seeing the top of the playlist. So if we click this top button, it will take us automatically all the way back to the top of the playlist. And we know that because we can see the 3 files with the start button on the left-hand side. If we wanted to go to the bottom again, we could click that bottom button. And again, we load files by dragging and dropping them into the playlist. You can also use the mouse to scroll up and down in the library itself. You may notice I'm scrolling very quickly. If you wanted to page up or page down, you can go 7 tracks at a time, up or down the playlist. That's another way to move quickly up and down the playlist. The rest of the buttons underneath this playlist, we will not really be using at this time. There may be times in the future where we implement these, but for now, we really just need to be using these first 6 buttons to navigate up and down the playlist. This is the bulk and the main part of the PAL OnAir software that we've covered up to this point. A lot of programmers will probably just use that we've covered so far in the training video. But we're going to continue right now. We're going to talk about how to audition audio in PAL. PAL has 2 channels on our board where we can play audio out of. Most of the time, most programmers will use the main audio channel on the board, which is just labeled PAL, P-A-L. However, there is another channel on the board called the Audition channel, P-A-L-A-U-D. And that is meant for playing or auditioning audio from another channel onto the board. This could be useful if you are playing audio out of the main log on the left side and you wanted to audition audio from another artist that you're getting ready to play in the Q channel on the board, so it's not going out over the air. You could play audio out of the Audition channel while playing audio out of the main channel over the air. So again, hypothetically, let's say we're playing audio here on the main log going out over the air, but we wanted to hear this song by Charlie Parker in the Audition channel through the Q button, so it's not going out over the air in the OnAir studio. We could right click on this song and click play. And you can see up here, it's sending audio to the Audition channel. We could be listening to this out of the Q button on the board, so it's not going over the air, but we could be listening to this on the side. If you wanted to stop this from playing, you could right click and then hit stop. Or we could right click and hit play, and then you can see down below information about this track. It has the cut number, the ID number here, the artist, Charlie Parker, the song title, and then it has a progress bar here where it's playing through. You can click on that progress bar to fast forward the song if you'd like. if you wanted to just skim through it, or if you wanted to rewind it, you can click directly on that progress bar and it will advance or go back to the time where you're clicking. You can also just click this X here to stop it from playing any longer. This is one way to audition audio in PAL. There's another way, and that is if you wanted to click one of the audio files on your playlist and you wanted to audition that audio file while hypothetically another track is playing up top. When you highlight this track on the main log playlist, you'll notice in the info box on the right-hand side is the information about the song that's highlighted in blue. This is White Christmas by Charlie Parker from the album Bird. If we wanted to audition this file, you could click the play button here and it would send that audio to the audition channel. Again, this is not the main PAL channel on the board. It's the PAL AUD channel. And you'll notice that it's playing because you can see it on the meter up here, but also this progress line is moving through the track. And you can see the time clicking as it's going. You can click through this track to fast forward or rewind, and then you can press stop when you're done playing it. And that's another way to audition audio in PAL. Let's talk about show logs. Show logs are a way for us to create bookmarks to audio that we may use on a regular basis. A good example of audio that would work well in a show log are intro songs or outro songs, or if you had a spot that you played often in your show, or any audio, a theme song, or a song that you like to play on a regular basis. You could add them to your show log. The show log is shown in this box kind of on the right-hand side of the screen. Each one of these buttons are audio files. You can't see the entire title or artist, but you can see kind of the first part of it and the time length of the audio file. Let's talk about how this window works, and then we'll talk about how you create a show log. In order to play an audio file, you have to either select play mode or insert mode. So if we are on insert mode, and you can toggle it by clicking that button and seeing which one it's selected. If we are on insert mode, if we click one of these audio files, it will automatically place it in the playlist wherever the blue is located. So I've got it on insert mode right here. If I select this button, it populates the audio file over in the playlist. So every time I click one of these buttons, it's going to insert an audio file where that blue is, and everything below it will move down one. That would allow me to then play this audio out of the playlist on the left-hand side. If I toggle this button and select play mode, then when I click this button for any one of these audio files, it will start playing that audio. And one thing to know that's very important is that if it is in play mode, it will play this audio out of the audition channel in PAL, not the main PAL channel. So you would want to have the PAL audition channel armed and turned up if you wanted it to go over the air. But you notice in play mode, when I click this button, it turns red and it plays down. The red goes away as the song or audio file is playing. It's sort of like a vertical progress bar that as it turns red, it's playing through the audio file. You also notice that the time is counting down as soon as I clicked it. That's the time that's left in that audio file. If I wanted to stop this file from playing, I could just click that button and it would stop playing right then. That's a hard stop. If I wanted that to fade out when I clicked it instead of the hard stop, then I would turn the fade on here by clicking that, and now it says fade on. So if I click it to play, it's playing. I've got the fade on right now. So if I clicked this button, it would fade out, and it says fading until it stops when it's not red. If I had a file that I wanted to repeat, I could click the repeat on, and it would play continuously through whichever button, whichever audio file I selected. So this audio file that I clicked right here is on repeat. It says repeat right there because we have the repeat button on. That would play continuously until I clicked it to stop. I'm going to click it and it's fading out now because our fade on is enabled. Again, play mode out of the show log. If it's in play mode, it's playing out of the audition channel on the OnAir studio, not the main PAL channel. If I wanted to load a show log up, this is probably the first step you would take, actually. You click the load button and you would select which show log you want to use. But before we do any of that, let's create a show log. This is probably the first step. If you don't have a show log, you can create or edit a show log. To do that, we would select this gear icon in the very top right, which opens up our workstation window in PAL. To create a show log, we are going to click on this button on the bottom left that looks like a computer disk with a green plus sign. This is how we create a new show log. So I click that button. It says clear all entries. You can say okay. And what you'll see is that this window with a list of potential audio files is blank. We've created a blank show log. It will initially title the show log new and then a number. That's an automatic naming convention that PAL uses. We will save this as the name that we want to use for the show log right now. So to do that, we click the save button, just a computer disk by itself in the middle of these three buttons. And it's going to ask what name we'll save this as. I'll just name it Chad. And we'll click OK. You'll notice at that point that this list on the left, the list of all show logs in our system, now shows the show log Chad. So we've saved the show log, but we've not added any audio to it yet. To add audio, we just do a search here in our library. And we can drag it right over to the audio, the workstation where we're creating our show log. So I'm finding audio in the library. And then I'm dragging and dropping it into the workstation window. This is the order that the audio files will show up on the show log window when we're finished. So I'm just adding some audio files as an example here. These are all audio files that I'd like to have in my show log that I'm going to use on a regular basis. If I wanted to change the order of these files, I could highlight the file I wanted to move, and then I could drag it and drop it. And I can move them wherever I'd like them to sit. It will change the order of the show log when I do that. If I wanted to delete one of these audio files, I could highlight it and then go down and hit the clear button, and it'll clear that entry out. And I could move another file in its place if I'd like to. When I'm finished creating my show log, I can just hit the save button down here in the middle, the computer disk icon. It's going to ask me again what I want to save it as. I'm going to keep the same name, hit OK. Then it's going to ask if we want to overwrite that show log. That's okay. You can hit OK there. Just saving it over the old version. And now I'm done. I can go ahead and close this window out. If I wanted to go back and re-edit that show log, I could hit that golden gear again, and it opens this window back up, and I could go select the Chad show log, and I could edit that show log again, just like that. Always want to make sure I save it when I'm done editing. But I'm going to go ahead and close this window out. And I'm going to load this show log I just created in the window over here. So I'll click the load button and I'll scroll down the list of show logs. Again, we can use this mouse wheel that we have, or you can use the sliding bar to go up and down. And I'm going to find the show log that I created, and you can either double click it or you can hit OK. And now we're looking at the show log that I just created in the workstation window. And I can use that show log right there that way. If I wanted to easily add songs to the show log that I have pulled up here, I could select an audio file and drag it and drop it right onto the show log from the library. That's a very easy way to add audio to your show log after you've created it. You cannot delete audio this way, but you can add audio to a show log this way. And so that's how to use and create and edit show logs in PAL. A very good feature if you have audio that you use on a regular basis, which you would like to access easily. And that completes the training for PAL OnAir. I hope this was helpful and that it allows you to have a more fulfilling PAL OnAir experience. If you have any questions about this or anything related to PAL, please contact the Chief Operator at KKFI by emailing at chiefoperator@kkfi.org. Thanks so much. Have a great day.